What's up, guys? Welcome back to Jets franchise. If you missed last episode, go ahead and check it out. We obviously, if you can tell by the score right in front of you, we did end up losing in the AFC Championship to Cincinnati in one of the worst ways I've ever lost the game in Madden. But go ahead and check it out still. But we are here with the off season. I know I promised daily uploads, weekdays, last video, and that was 2 days ago. But I wasn't really prepared for this off season. But now I have like a bunch of stuff written down. You probably can't see it, but let's just go ahead and jump right into the off season. Let's go ahead and start by looking at the season stats. Starting with Justin Fields. He had 3,200 passing yards, 22 touchdowns, 14 interceptions, 67% completion percentage, averaged just below 201 yards per game, quarterback rating of 97.8. He had a good, the turnovers are, 14 is a good amount of interceptions. Some of those are my fault, some of those are just, bad luck. And then Jake Browning obviously played in the last week of the season. He had 2 touchdowns, 213 yards. But that Bengals game was Justin Fields' last game as a Jet. He's a free agent. Not going to re-sign him because we've scouted quarterback. We put our entire scouting around the quarterbacks in this class, and it would feel pointless to just know the quarterbacks if we're just going to re-sign one anyway. So Fields is going to be gone this offseason. Rushing wise, Brees Hall 224 carries, exactly 1,600 yards and 15 touchdowns. Averaged exactly 100 yards a game. Had no fumbles. Justin Fields stats: 90 carries, 833 yards, 8 touchdowns. Also had 4 fumbles. Braylon Allen 97 carries, 546 yards, 8 touchdowns. Clyde Hopkins 30 carries, 124 yards, 3 touchdowns. Keith even ran a touchdown himself. All these running backs are under contract, so we don't really have to worry about running back as much. But we will be losing Justin Fields, so we'll lose the element of the quarterback run most likely with the guy I'm targeting with our pick. We look at receiving. Desmond House was actually our leading receiver with 64 catches, 819 yards, and 8 touchdowns. That's a really good rookie season. Garrett Wilson, he didn't. So like some of these guys didn't play the final game of the season because we got a playoff spot locked in. We weren't gonna win the division, so there's no point of really playing our starters and risk getting them hurt in the playoffs. But Garrett Wilson, 51 catches, 722 yards, 6 touchdowns. Arian Smith, 40 catches, 537 yards, 4 touchdowns. Mason Taylor, 428 yards, 4 touchdowns. Brees Hall, 322 yards, touchdown. Malachi Corley, 19 catches, 278 yards, touchdown. Kolar, 15 for 136. And then we see some other guys with a few catches. The only guy who didn't get a single catch was Zach Kuntz, but everybody else did. So blocking, we'll look at sacks allowed. Olu Fashanu led the team with sacks allowed, then Membo. Hernandez and Stanley. Stanley did end up playing about 160 more snaps, but I would keep forgetting to put him back in the lineup. Like, he would be injured, and they're like, oh, I got to put him back in the lineup, and then I would keep forgetting. So that's probably why Will Hernandez played as many as he did. But yeah, he allowed 4 sacks. Joe Tippmann allowed 3. Elijah Tucker only allowed 2, and he played the second most snaps of any lineman. So that's really good. Matt Stanley only appeared in 11 games, only allowed 2 sacks. And then we have some other guys here who appeared in some games and played some snaps. But defensively, Jamie Sherwood led the team with 114 tackles. Ezra Thomas with 109. Quincy Williams with 103. See Malachi Moore down there and other guys. TFL numbers are pretty crazy. 22 for Jamie Sherwood, 21 for Quincy Williams, 13 for Quinnen Williams, 12 for Glenn Woodard. Winters with 9, Ty Hamilton with 9, Gardner with 8, Stevens, Cisco, Jermaine Johnson also with 8. Sacks, 7.5 from Quinnen Williams on the team. He had like 17 last year, so not the productive year, but I feel like he was also a little bit more banged up this season than he was last year. Our first round pick, Glenn Woodard, only finished with 5 sacks. Ty Hamilton had 3, Quinnen Winters 2.5, Jalings Hunt had 2, Quincy Williams 1.5. Sherwood with 1, Barron with 1, Jermaine Johnson not only half a sack. Look at interceptions. Brandon Stevens and Malachi Moore both had 3. Two for Jonas Sanker. He had two in the same game, so that's pretty cool. Jamie Sherwood and then Troy Anderson also with interceptions, deflections. 13 from Sauce Gardner led the team, and then we have 8 for Sherwood, Williams, Thomas, and 6 for Stevens as well. We forced 0 fumbles. We did have a block kick. It was blocked by Quincy Williams. We had no safeties or defensive touchdowns. We look at Matthew Ross's kicking, made every extra point, 89% field goal percentage, which is really good. Only missed 3 field goals out of 28 attempts. Punting, Matt Ariza averaged 54 yards per punt, had 3 inside the 20, 11 touchbacks. Then Arian Smith, okay, I don't know why it doesn't show just the top. Clyde Hopkins had over 1,000 kick return yards and a touchdown. Reed Whitley also had a good amount of kick return yards. Punt returns, Reed Whitley had 19 returns for 203 yards. But those are the stats for everybody. Let's just go to the Pro Bowl week and see who made the Pro Bowl. All right, taking a look at the Pro Bowls. At the AFC, we see Lamar, Tua, and Justin Fields made the Pro Bowl. We see Breece Hall also made the Pro Bowl with Derrick Henry and James Cook. O'Keefe made the Pro Bowl. So that's already 3 Pro Bowlers. I don't think we're going to see any wide receivers or tight ends. Maybe Elijah Vera Tucker. Okay, no. Armand Membo. So that's what, 4? Okay, so we had 4 Pro Bowlers. We had Justin Fields, Breece Hall, O'Keefe, and Armand Membo made the Pro Bowl. And then we have a player recognition storyline. We had one last year. It was for Breece Hall. I'm going to assume it's for probably Breece Hall again. Just saw your message as I was walking by. How's it going? Seeing everyone celebrating this week, I was looking back at all the great performances this year. And who was the lucky player? It's Breece Hall again. Had an incredible year. I'd like to do something special for him. So it's Breece Hall again. He deserves the recognition. So we get +5 approval from the players. And then Breece Hall gained 4,500 XP. Where the Super Bowl matchup is the Bengals versus the Giants. So it's not a Super Bowl rematch between the Bengals and the Rams. It is the Bengals and the Giants made the Pro Bowl here. We'll look at the yearly awards. Your MVP is Joe Burrow. Okay, so Joe Burrow will be playing in his 2nd Super Bowl now. We don't see Justin Fields or Breece Hall, but we do see the rookie Rashad Roten. Hopefully that could be our rookie quarterback that we're most likely to draft this season. Coach of the Year is Zach Taylor. We finished 4th. We look at the AFC because we're in the AFC. AFC Offensive Player of the Year is Jamar Chase. We see Breece Hall at 4. Defensive Player of the Year is Josh Hines-Allen in the AFC. Offensive Rookie of the Year is Desmond House. I don't think he's going to win Offensive Rookie of the Year like between the AFC and NFC. It's probably going to be Roten, the quarterback from the Rams. But it's nice to see that Desmond House won the AFC Offensive Rookie of the Year. We also see the undrafted rookie, Clyde Hopkins, finished 6th. Defensive Rookie of the Year is Jimmy Madden. We see Glenn Woodard there at 6. He even missed a few games, so maybe if he was healthy those first 2 games, maybe he could have won it. I don't know. Probably wouldn't have won it with 6 or 7 sacks. Best quarterback is Joe Burrow. Best running back is Derrick Henry. We do see Breece Hall. Best wide receiver is Jamar Chase. So lineman is Quinn Miners. For some reason, Max Mitchell, Carter Warren are there. I don't understand why those guys are in there, but Elijah Vera Tucker's in there. Somebody who actually played. Best defensive lineman is Josh Hines-Allen as well. Best linebacker, Dan Henley. Jamie Sherwood at 10. Best DB is Tareem Still. Brandon Stevens at 5. Malachi Moore at 6. Best kicker is Tyler Luke Matthew Ross at 4. And then we'll check out the NFC side. AFC Offensive Player of the Year, Brandon Ayuk. Defensive Player of the Year, Dexter Lawrence. Offensive Rookie of the Year is Mitch Pierce. Not even Rashad Roten. Mitch Pierce from the Giants. Defensive Rookie of the Year, Donnell Foster. Best quarterback, Brock Purdy. Running back, Saquon. Wide receiver, Brandon Ayuk. Lineman, Dominique Pooney. The lineman, Dexter Lawrence. Linebacker, Fred Warner. Donnell Foster. And then Maddox Trujillo. I don't know. And then we have some upgrade points for some guys. We have an upgrade for Desmond House, who is now up to Superstar Dev. Okay, so winning AFC Offensive Rookie of the Year gets him up to Superstar Dev. That is huge. This is looking like a really good trade up for us. He does get 2 ability slots. What could we upgrade here? I want to get his medium and deep route running up a little bit. So I'm going to go deep threat here. So that's one of the upgrades we see. +1 awareness catching, +2 to medium release, and spec catch. So there we go. Desmond House is now playing up to an 86, but he's really an 83 with Superstar Dev. That is awesome. But now that we're in the Super Bowl week, we can check out development trait increases. All right, we look at the offense. Breece Hall is up to X Factor. I think he should have gone up to X Factor last season, but he's finally up to X Factor. He's playing up to a 98 overall, but he's really a 93 overall. Still, very good player for us. He's been our best player so far, and that is awesome to see go up to X Factor. We obviously saw Desmond House go up to Superstar. I want to say Garrett Wilson went down to Star Dev. He did, yeah. He didn't really have that big of a season. Unfortunate. Besides that, I don't think anything else changed on offense. On defense, however, we see Jermaine Johnson went back down to Star. Okay. We see Quinnen Williams go down to Superstar. Brandon Stevens up to Superstar. Thomas had Superstar already. But I want to say that is the only change. So Johnson goes down, Williams goes down, Stevens goes up, Wilson's goes down, Halls goes up, and Houses goes up. And Matthew Ross is still Superstar Dev. Okay. So some unfortunate Dev downgrades like Quinnen Williams. He's now 28. He did get traded in real life. Him and Sauce Gardner did get traded in real life. I'm not going to trade him here. This is a completely separate thing than in real life. Maybe if we were doing bad, I would have thought about it, but we just made the AFC Championship. There's no reason to trade away our 2 best defensive players in an already bad defensive unit. So I'm not going to make those trades like in real life. But we do get some stories here for the rookies. Trey Cox, or the upcoming rookies in this draft. Trey Cox did not have a good all-star game. Alfonso Callahan was dominant. An edge rusher. We'll look at him real quick. We see that he's the #1 player in the class, so there's no way we're going to get him unless we had probably a top 3 pick. But we'll just look at him a little bit here. He has great to elite jumping, excel, solid decent speed and strength. He's got A finesse moves. He's really just a speed rusher. That's about it. Not really. He's a one-trick guy, but we weren't going to be able to draft him anyway, so not really losing sleep on that guy. All right, so we're going to go ahead and advance to next week. Let's see who wins the Super Bowl. Is it the Bengals or is it the Giants? It is the Giants win 27-21 over the Bengals. So the Giants are the defending Super Bowl champions. That's pretty crazy. We see some players retire on the right side here. No way did Jameis Winston play in the Super Bowl. Was Jackson Dart hurt? No way Jameis Winston was actually starting for the Giants and just won a Super Bowl. Was Jackson Dart hurt or something? Jackson Dart must. There's no way they would just start. Okay, so Jameis Winston was the Super Bowl winning quarterback for the Giants. That even makes it even a worse loss for the Bengals, really. But we'll check out the 2026 retirements, I should say. I don't think we're gonna have any retirings. Maybe one, but it'd probably be a backup. We look at Jermaine Eluemanor did retire. Wasn't going to resign him anyway, so that's just another backup position we have to bring back. But we look at retirements around the league. We see Harrison Smith retires. We see Jonathan Allen retires. We see DeMarcus Lawrence retires from the Seahawks. We obviously saw a bunch of Saints players retire, like DeAndre Hopkins, Tyrann Mathieu, Demario Davis. Ronnie Stanley retires. Devontae Adams retires. Matthew Judon retires. Chris Jones retires. That's a big loss for the Chiefs. Khalil Mack retires. Mike Evans retires. A lot of potential Hall of Famers retiring. Joey Bosa retires. Joe Tooney retires. Dalvin Cook and Odell Beckham retire. But that is it. Now we have to upgrade our practice squad guys. I think we'll just go elusive back and then power back. For him, he gets +2 to awareness, +1 ball carrier vision, juke, and spin move. And we'll go power back here for Donovan Edwards, as he will get a +1 break tackle, +2 stiff arm, +1 trucking. All right, we upgraded Roy Bonner. He got +1 to zone tackling, player awareness, +3 to tackling, +1 to pursuit, and then +1 to man coverage. Jordan Alexander got a lot upgraded, +1 to zone, player +2 to man, +1 to awareness, +2 to zone again, +1 to tackling, press, +2 to man again, and then +1 to awareness. He actually was on the team for a little bit. And then we relegated him back down to the practice squad after we didn't really need him. But he could be a fun developmental player. He's 6'3", 93 speed, 72 man. However, his zone is really bad. His press isn't very good. Maybe a good depth corner. Maybe not a guy you can start. Upgrades for Leonard Taylor, +1 player act, +1 hit power, +2 to finesse, +3 to block shedding, +3 to player act, +1 to hit power, and then +1 to block shedding as well. He actually looks very good for only being a 69 overall, 80 block shedding, 80 finesse moves. He's not very fast, but I think it could be a very solid depth piece for us on the interior defensive line. Our upgrades for Josh Quinones, he got a lot. +1 stiff arming, spec catch, medium route run, +2 to deep, +1 catching traffic awareness, +2 spec catch. +1 short route running, run block power, run block finesse, run block release, +2 medium route. Running, +1 lead block, juke move, catch traffic, ball carrier vision, because tight ends upgrade a lot of different things. He could maybe see some playing time here in year number 3, even if we don't sign or draft the tight end. We look at upgrades for Ty Riddick, +1 to run block power, +3 to run block and pass block, +1 to lead block, +2 to run block finesse, run block again, and then pass block. Could maybe be a backup center. He still has a little ways to go, although he has 78 run block, which is pretty solid, 91 lead block. Upgrades for Eric Escobar, +3 tackling, +1 to play rec, +2 to zone, and then +3 to man. Upgrades for Anaya Smith, +2 to short route running, +1 to release, catching traffic, and awareness. Could be a very solid depth wide receiver. Upgrades for left tackle Ramon Chavez, +1 to run block power, +2 to run block, and then +1 to lead block. Seems like a very good pass protecting left tackle. Could be our left tackle, backup left tackle next year. Upgrades for Brady Cook, +1 to throw under pressure, throw accuracy short, and +1 to awareness. He could very well be our backup quarterback. Although I won't be opposed to maybe signing one, but right now he is probably going to be our backup. And then finally, we're done upgrading our practice squad guys with Dewan Trotter, +1 to tackle, +2 to power moves, +1 to hit power, +2 to finesse, +1 to block shedding, +1 to awareness. He's got good power moves. That's about it. But now we are able to look at mock draft number 4. We see Alfonso Callahan projected to go number 1 to the Houston Texans, the Saints. Jesus Guzman, DJ Smith, Carlos Felix, Danny Duncan projected to go to the Cardinals. Juan Doolittle, Trevin Hughes, Javier Beasley. So there's a lot of there's 3 quarterbacks projected to go in the first 8 picks. Hopefully we don't see the guy who I really want, Brandon Burbank, get taken before our pick. Glenn Marks, Mark Watkins, Turbin, Enrique McFarland's a top 5 talent. Percy Callahan, Eric Peterson, Kamani Boone, Contreras, Donnie Hillman, Thaddeus Kelly. So we are projected out of the 29th overall pick. We're not going to be taking a day 3 projected left guard. Matthias Silva is projected to get drafted, but I'm looking at the quarterback I am looking at drafting is Brandon Burbank. Strong arm from Tennessee, 6'6", 227. I talked about him a lot recently, and if he's not projected to go in the first round, maybe we snag him up at 29. You may be thinking, then why not just trade down the second round? And I don't want to risk trading down too far and then have him get taken ahead of me. So If he's available at 29, he'll be our pick if he's there at 29. I'm just gonna say that right now. He has A deep accuracy, A short, A under pressure, B medium accuracy. He's not very athletic like at all, but that's just most of the quarterbacks in this draft aren't very athletic. Elite strength, elite throw power. Does have solid to decent excel. I don't know if that really matters, but he's got A awareness, B break sack, B play action, A deep, medium, or A deep, short, B medium, A under pressure, C throw on the run. I think he could be. I think right now he could be the best rated, highest rated quarterback in this entire draft. And if I wanted to take any of these guys, I'd have to trade up for them, and I'm not really looking to trade up in the draft. Especially that we don't really have as many picks as we did, obviously with like the trade deadline move to get Jonas Sanker or anything like that. But yeah, I think we'll check out the season recap. The Super Bowl MVP was Jameis Winston. Mitch Pierce did win Offensive Rookie of the Year of the entire league, and Donald Foster won Defensive Rookie of the Year in the entire league. So there you go. Bengals had the MVP and the Coach of the Year, and still couldn't beat Jameis Winston. That's pretty insane. But we'll go to next week here. All right, now that we are in the Phil staff week, I don't think I'm going to make any moves on our staff. I'm just going to keep the staff the way it is. But we do have some negotiations today. We have 19 players to resign. I have every player that we need to that wants to resign on this thing, and I have resign, don't resign. But let's first look at maybe some regression from some of these players. Okay, really the only player that really regressed a lot was Quincy Williams. He got -1 zone, man injury, power moves, -2 change direction, -1 awareness, -6 tackle, -2 speed, -2 play rec, -1 finesse and block shedding. He's somebody who I think would still start for us, but maybe in this year's draft we draft his eventual replacement. So I think he's really the only player that started for us that really regressed. But now we have everybody written down. Olufusanu, he doesn't want to bring back, and I don't want to extend his fifth-year option. He wants a warm weather state, a franchise quarterback. We can't change the warm weather state. We're not Storm and can just change the weather and shit and make it warm. I don't know if that's how our power works in the X-Men. I'm just, I've been watching a lot of Doomsday stuff, but that doesn't matter. Franchise quarterback. Maybe if we draft a quarterback, he'll have the quarterback franchise tag, and maybe that will help boost his motivations even more. But usually, the smarter thing is to decline the fifth-year option, then just pay him sooner rather than waiting another year, and then they'll be more expensive down the line rather than just resigning right now. Starting with the biggest free agent, we have to resign Jermaine Johnson. I know he's 83 overall. But he did nothing all season. You also saw that he went down to star dev. Although his stats look really good, his attributes look really good. He's been more of a solid run defender, if anything. Only 3 sacks in the last 3 years, or in the last 2 years. And he wants $16 to $17 million a season. Actually, let's move my face cam here. Even though we do have the budget, we have $133 million. I'm not going to pay Jermaine Johnson 17 million. Maybe there's a good edge rusher available in free agency and we'll sign one. We could trade for one, I just don't think I want to pay Jermaine Johnson that type of money. Justin Fields, I've already said, he's gone. So I'm going to withdraw the offer on Jermaine Johnson. I'm going to withdraw the offer on Justin Fields. I'm not going to resign. I don't know. Maybe I resign Jake Browning. Do that up. I don't know. He's a maybe. Running back. All running backs under contract. O'Keefe. I would like to bring back O'Keefe. He did just make the Pro Bowl, and he was really good. Don't know if I want to give him a 2-year extension. But how about a 1-year, $2 million? We look at his motivations. He doesn't really want to be here, but I think this is a good offer. O'Keefe, can we get O'Keefe back? All right, we get O'Keefe, our fullback, back on the team. So that's the first re-signing we're going to do. Tight ends, Charlie Kolar doesn't want to be here. Not really in in a hurry to bring him back. So we'll withdraw offer. Zach Kuntz. Zach Kuntz, he didn't get a single catch this season. Um, so I don't think there's really a point of bringing him back. So unfortunately, I'm going to say no to Zach Kuntz as well. Looking at left tackle, Carter Warren, with Ramon Chavez, who's the same overall and way younger. I'm going to say no to Carter Warren as well. Willer Hernandez, I would like to bring him back. He'd be very good depth. We have the cap space to bring him back, but he doesn't want to be back, so we'll come back to that one. Josh Myers did play a decent amount. I wouldn't mind bringing him back again, but I wouldn't want to give him. I would give him a 1 year, $5 million deal here. And Josh Myers is going to go to free agency. Okay, so he'll be gone. Max Mitchell doesn't want to be here, and I don't want to re-sign him for like $6 million. Then he'd want. I know he was up for best offensive lineman in the AFC, but I think that award's glitched a little bit. Right tackle Ellie Manor retired, so don't have to re-sign him. David Ojabo, unfortunately, I'm gonna say no to Ojabo. We just have a bunch of guys ahead of him, and the guys ahead of him played better, so that's gonna be no. Jermaine Johnson, even if we wanted to resign him at this point, it's a $30 million cap hit. Peebles and Big U's are free agents. They would want or Peebles would probably want upwards to 10. I'm not going to pay him $10 million a season, so I'm going to withdraw the offer on him and Big U's. Troy Anderson, I think that's going to be a no for me as well. We look at corners. Shaquille Griffin does have the mentor tag. Correct? He does have the mentor tag, so I wouldn't mind bringing him back. Maybe he wouldn't play, but still, the mentor tag is a pretty big deal. It boosts XP for players at the same position, so I wouldn't mind bringing him back on a 1 year, $4 million deal. And plus, we're going to be kind of thin at corner. I would still like to draft a corner. Obviously, maybe sign one through free agency, but his motivations are in the red. I think a $4 million deal is just good, and we get Shaquille Griffin back on a 1 year deal. That mentor tag is pretty rare, so we'll take that. Jaquan McMillan, I think, is going to be gone. Marquise Bell, I think, is going to be gone. Malachi Moore, we have Malachi Moore. Don't think we really need Marquise Bell. All right, Zaire Barnes, I wouldn't mind bringing him back. Only a 1 year, $2.9 million deal. And he's going to test free agency. Okay, and then last guy, Will Hernandez, probably just let him go, unfortunately. Okay, so we don't really end up bringing back very many players, just Shaquille Griffin and Kokeeft, I believe. Yeah, we just bring back Kokeeft and Shaquille Griffin. We do see some players get franchise tagged. We see 3 long snappers get franchise tagged. 4 long snappers get franchise tagged. Holy shit! Never seen a long snapper get red tag or franchise tagged ever. But we only bring back Kokeeft and Shaquille Griffin. Everybody else, I wasn't wanting to bring back anyways, so I think we're gonna let everybody go. And we're going to go ahead here and jump into this free agency. All right, we're here in free agency. We see a bunch of stories. Lucas Gregory shows up out of shape. Al Looker, so that's a pretty cool name, skips the combine due to injuries. Ben O'Neill, strongman, not really looking for a tackle. Chance Bullock, slow motion. Antoine Wilson, top performer, strong safety. Mike Wilcox, bit of a stumble. Sherwood, combine to watch. Okay, we'll look at those guys later. But we have 48 players on the roster. We have $127 million. We have a lot of money to spend. Let's see the top free agents. We see Kyle Hamilton. We see Zay Flowers, Marlon Humphrey, Elton Jenkins, Rashee Rice, Jameel Dean, Leonard Williams, Jamison Williams, Gore Stewart, Chase Brown, Travis Etienne, Jermaine Johnson. Okay. So we see some see some good players. We definitely see some great players. Kyle Hamilton being here is interesting. Doesn't want to be here. Zay Flowers being here is interesting as well. Quarterback, we're not gonna find a replacement in here, and considering Fields is the best option, there's not really an upgrade. So he's getting 2 offers. We'll see where he goes. Running back, not really gonna be looking at a running back too much. I'm fine with Brees Hall and Braylon Allen again. Running it back with the duo this year. Fullback, there's Ricard. We just resigned a fullback, so not really looking at wide receiver. There's Zay Flowers, Rashee Rice, Jamison Williams, Calvin Austin. There's a lot of speed. Trey Tucker at receiver. I would like to add another speedy wide receiver. And maybe, Tucker or Austin or Jamison Williams with 98 speeds there. But with us not really being a pass-heavy team, maybe we do change that, or maybe we go a little bit more balanced approach, with the loss of Fields. So maybe a wide receiver 3 is something we target. Tight end, we see Tucker Kraft's available. I wouldn't mind adding another tight end. Tucker Kraft would be a cool option. Hunter Henry, Darnell Washington, Dawson Knox, Michael Mayer. Look at the offensive line. I'd really only sign like a depth lineman. Will Hernandez is there. Elton Jenkins. We just don't really need offensive line. Like, our offensive line's great right now. But edge rusher, I would like to add another edge rusher to the team. Defensive tackle. I think I'm fine with our defensive tackles right now. But with Jermaine Johnson being the best one available, kind of sucks. I was hoping we'd see some better edge rush players. Linebackers. Not really very many great linebackers here. Trenton Simpson. Maybe we sign Quincy Williams' as replacement and then cut Quincy Williams. Corner is a position I would like to add either through free agency or the draft, and this appears to be a top 2 corner type of free agency. See some young guys. Max Melton in here. Carter Williams, we traded him away. Safeties, we got Ardarius Washington, Malik Hooker. The Ravens lost a lot of players. Kyle Hamilton's here. But he doesn't want to be here. Okay, so this is an interesting free agency class. There's some players that I like. Then kicker punter, we don't really need a kicker punter. Or long snapper. But the free agency class looks pretty decent. We'll check out the trade block here for some players. Quarterbacks, I'm not going to be trading for a quarterback. Running back, not going to trade for running back. Maybe trade for a wide receiver potentially. We see some, second-year wide receivers up here. We see Tyler Boyd, who's on the team originally. Tight end, Jatavion Sanders, Harold Fannin. All offensive line. Not really looking to trade for any line, but there is some decent ones on the trade block. Edge rusher, Jonathan Cooper. Marshawn Nealand, who just passed away, actually. R.I.P. Defensive tackle. Right edge, Jack Sawyer. Chris Braswell. Jacob Phillips at Sam. Barrett Carter at Mike. Zach Bond's available. Is that a 1-year deal? Maybe. Mike Sanders still. Do we trade for a corner? I was looking at potentially trading for Mike Sanders still at the trade deadline. But the best guy that seems to be here is Zach Bond on the trade block. What would type of... Okay, there's nothing we could trade for Zach Bond. And to think of players I might trade away, I can't really think of very many players I'd really, really want to trade away. Quincy Williams would probably be in the trade block because he's a free agent next year and he's regressed. Maybe Braden Stevens. I know he's our CB3, he just went to superstar dev, but he's 29, 1 year left on his deal. Malachi Moore went to star dev. I did not see that. That's awesome. So yeah, there's not really very many players I want to move off from on the team right now. And what could we get for Quincy Williams if I do trade him? Jaden Blue, 2/7, Brad Lynch. So just some running backs. Don't really know if I'd want to trade for a running back. Maybe Brandon Stevens' trade value goes up for being a superstar. Levi Bush in his sixth, Brendan Rice in his seventh, Cody Haskins, Mumpfield. These don't really look like interesting trade ideas. And if we offer both of them in the same trade, we get a superstar to have corner. Hello. We get Cam Curl. Zion Thomas is on the Eagles. Currently their CB4. They just drafted him. That's interesting. I'll offer guys some scholarships and or offer some guys deals, and I will let you know on who I offer on. Okay, so looking at the guys we have offered, I'm not offering on Kai Hamilton. I know he's a big free agent, 26.93 superstar. The Rams are giving him a ton of money. Um, and we just traded for Jonas Sanker. So and then we just resigned. So I don't think it makes sense to me. Zay Flowers, somebody we could also sign. It's more like the top players are all Ravens players, which is pretty weird. So Ravens are kind of falling apart a little bit, but I'm fine. I'm happy with the guys we have offered. So look at the guys we've offered. We are offering on Jamel Dean. Jamel Dean. I want more speed in the secondary, and Jamel Dean's is what is has like 5 speed on Marlon Humphrey. So we're gonna offer Jamel Dean. We're offering Derek Hall. We're offering Jamel Dean a 1 year deal. We're offering Derek Hall a 2 year deal to be. I think finesse rushers just play better because Jermaine Johnson's a power rusher. He got nothing. So we're gonna try Derek Hall. Um, and this isn't really a great. This, in my opinion, this draft class isn't at that good. Isn't as good as last year's. Max Melton, he's a fast corner. He's young. He could still develop. I'll take him. We're offering him a 3 year deal. Dorian Williams, we're getting a 2 year deal on as well. We're also signing, going after Zach Zinter on a 2 year deal. I wanted to add a linebacker. Dorian Williams seems like a nice player that could maybe even start for us next year if something goes wrong with injuries. Max Melton could be a nice developmental corner. 93 speed would be awesome to add. Derek Hall and then Jamel Dean. So I just want to get faster in the secondary, and I just want to get faster on defense really. And I think with Jamel Dean, with Derek Hall, with Max Melton and Dorian Williams, we could definitely do that. And then Zach Sinter could be a nice backup guard. So I know we're not going after the top dogs, but Jamel Dean was one of the top free agents, and I really wanted to get corner. So I think this is a nice way to spend our money. So we're going to evaluate offers, and everybody signed, and we got everybody. We had Jamel Dean, we had Derek Hall, we had Max Melton, we had Zach Zinter. Dorian Williams has yet to offer, but nobody else offered on Dorian Williams. So right now we're in the clear. So you may think, why sign a corner when you have Stevens and you just signed Jamel Dean? Well, Brandon Stevens is somebody I would probably move on from. He's got 1 year left on his deal. I know he's superstar. You just want the superstar dev, but does he even have any abilities? He would have like one of the worst abilities for a corner, and I would want to move on from him. So I think he's gonna be somebody we add to the trade block. But we can have Sauce Gardner and Jamel Dean on the outside, and then we could have Thomas in the slot, and then Max Melton could play boundary and slot. And I resigned Shaquille Griffin just for his mentor tag for the boost to players like Max Melton and Thomas and Jordan Alexander. So getting a mentor tag player is really big. Derek Hall to the team as well, only on a 2 year deal. But I think it's a good signing. He's probably the second best edge rusher in my opinion, besides Jermaine Johnson. So, yeah, and this doesn't really look like a good edge rusher class. And so I think we made the right signings here. And Derek Hall, then we got Zach Zinter just for some backup lineman purposes. But So we signed Jamel Dean to a 1 year, $16.5 million. Derek Hall to a 2 year, $23 million contract. Max Milton to a 3 year, $19.8 million contract, and then we signed Zach Zinter to a 2 year, $6.8 million dollar deal. But we'll see where other players signed. We look at Kyle Hamilton is going to the Saints instead of the Rams. The Rams offered him a lot of money, but he's going to the Saints. But Zay Flowers does go to the Rams. Rashee Rice to the Cardinals. Jameson Williams to the Steelers. Jair Brown to the Falcons. Jack Gibbons to the Steelers. Wanya Morris to the Giants. Troy Anderson goes to Carolina. Yeah, I think I don't really want to go after anybody else right now. I think with the team we have, we're good. I was thinking about going after Tucker Kraft. But this is a very good tight end class, so maybe we just hold off and draft one instead of signing Tucker Kraft to a deal. But I don't think we're going to sign another major free agent. I think what we're going to do is just mainly sign some depth players. Okay, I don't think I'm going to make any other negotiations. I think we're going to stick with just Dorian Williams that we're negotiating with. So let's go ahead and evaluate offers for Dorian Williams. He doesn't sign yet. Okay, but so some other guys did resign. And then we see Marlon Humphrey go to the Giants. So he goes to the Super Bowl champs. Elton Jenkins also goes to the Giants. We saw these guys. Grover Stewart goes to the Steelers as well. Jermaine Johnson goes to the Commanders. Okay, Tyler Spears to the Commanders. Tucker Kraft to the Giants. Keanu White to the Cardinals. Jair Brown to the Falcons. We saw Brian Kelly to the Jaguars. Thibodeau to the Titans. Robertson to the Chiefs. Sidney Brown to the Jaguars. Wyatt to the Jaguars. Gibbons. Baker to the Titans. Anton Harrison to the Rams. But Leonard Williams has yet to be signed. Chris Brown, ETN have yet to be sent to the Reader. So this is what the lineup is going to look like heading into the draft. We signed two corners. We signed an edge rusher. Maybe we use Brandon Stevens in a trade up potentially in the draft. I don't know. But I think I'm fine with these signings. We have to wait till Jordan Williams signs with us. But I think we made some great signings to the team, some necessary ones. We don't really change much on offense at all. But offense, I think, is the thing we'll wait and address to the draft with a potential quarterback and a potential new tight end. But so those are some great signings. But all right, we have two guys to look at with good combine stories. We have Antoine Wilson and Tyreek Sherwood to look at. So let's take a look at these guys. Antoine Wilson is the top strong safety. He's got B hit power, B to D man, C zone, C tackling, hybrid safety. He ran the fastest 40-yard dash, 4.44. Had the highest vertical jump, highest 20-yard shuttle, second highest broad jump, 3-cone. He looks really athletic. B hit power, B player act, B awareness, C tackle, C zone. Again, probably I say these not a position I want to draft in the first 2 rounds. And then we look at Tyreek Sherwood at corner, who has B catching, D man, C press, B to D zone. 4.52, elite excel, good strength, and change of direction. However, he doesn't look like maybe he's a good zone coverage corner, but outside of that, not really much to speak about. There's another corner down here, Bryce Boone. This is not a very good corner class. That's why I ended up signing Max Melton, really, to potential developmental corner. So that is those guys. But let's take a look at my favorites. We have some quarterbacks, obviously Doolittle, but Since we don't have quarterback, obviously we're going to be taking quarterback, and right now it's looking like that Brandon Burbank is going to be the quarterback we do take from Tennessee. But maybe some second round players I'm thinking about going after include Eddie Morales, Manu Soto, and then some Sam linebackers and corners and safeties. I'm also looking at potentially uh, Max Parker. I know he's around 3 to 4 talent, but he has elite speed, elite change rate, elite jumping. Maybe he's a very fast guy that we do draft potentially. Um, let's go to Sam linebackers. Some guys who we could draft in the second round. Look at Daniel Huffman um, and Juan Alvarado. As the guys, B pursuit, A tackle, B zone. I know we were going to sign Dorian Williams, but we could need the replacement for Quincy Williams. Sooner rather than later, we ran a 4.56, fastest 40-yard dash. He has great change of direction, elite excel, good strength. A play rec, B pursuit, A zone, A tackling. He looks really good. And then Daniel Huffman is another linebacker we could target in the second round potentially. He's got B block shedding, B pursuit, A tackle, B zone. One stop from Notre Dame, great speed, great change of direction, good strength, jumping, and excel. He's got A hit power, B pursuit, A play rec, B block shed, B awareness, A tackle, B coverage, zone coverage. So he is somebody we could target in the second round. And then I talked about potentially targeting Bryce Boone. And then I have some safeties on here like Jonathan Iglesias and Mark Chavez down the board. And then trunk safety, I got Brad Smith there as well. So those are the guys we're targeting in the second round. The first round players I'm targeting are Brandon Burbank, obviously, Enrique McFarland, but it seems like he's going to go very high. Thaddeus Kelly is somebody we can go after, and then tight end Lucas Gregory, somebody we could target with the first round pick. But we're gonna take a quarterback. There's no way we don't take a quarterback unless we have to trade up for. Well, if we have to trade up, I'll probably trade up. But I think those will be some fine players we could take. All right, we can look at the final mock draft. So it appears that it's a lock that Alfonso Callahan's going to go number one overall. Guzman's projected to go number two. Smith, Carlos Felix, Danny Duncan to the Cardinals. What does that mean for Kyler Murray? Glenn Marks, Matt Watkins. We see Javier Beasley projected to go to the Steelers. Enrique McFarland's projected to go 14 to the Seahawks. Eric Pearson's the top 5 talent, projected to go to the Buccaneers. Mike Evans did just retire. Thaddeus Kelly is projected to go 17 to the Panthers. Sherwood's projected to go 21 to the Broncos. Andrews projected to go 23. Just some guys we're looking at. Darby. But it appears that Brandon Burbank is not projected to go at all in the first round. So that means we probably, hopefully, won't have to trade up in the draft. Rodney Hopkins, Evan Robinson, Philip Curtis. So, okay. So we're looking good. We do get some player stock going up, like Alfonso. There's a lot of Alfonsos for some reason. Like in these auto-generated drafts, we see McAllister's thing go down. Well, those guys were already signed players, so we'll take a look at Alfonso Black, I guess. We did sign Dorian Williams. I'll probably move him over to Sam, linebacker, but I think I'll do that, potentially after the draft. But I think we had a good free agency. We didn't get the big, huge, giant free agent that's going to completely change the team, but we got guys that should improve the defense. We got faster in the secondary with Max Melton and Jamel Dean. We also added some fast speed rushers because we'll see Jermaine Johnson didn't do anything and he was more of a power rusher guy. So let's see if it's more of a speed rusher or a power rusher archetype that you want. Dorian Williams is another linebacker. We didn't really sign a linebacker, and we signed Trey Anderson, but that was more of a 1 year stopgap. And I don't know if we're going to be able to draft a linebacker in this draft, so I'd rather just go out and sign one. And then we got Zach Zinter, a backup guard. I think this is a pretty good free agency class. We didn't get like Zay Flowers or Kyle Hamilton or Rashee Rice or Jameson Williams, like those big name guys, but I'm still happy with the guys we've gotten. Obviously, we could still potentially make a move like a trade. But let's take a look at Alfonso Black real quick. This guy's like shit. All right, we'll take a look at all the players. We see Justin Fields is going to be the quarterback of the Raiders. I wonder if we play the Raiders this. No, we played them last year, so I don't think we'll play the Raiders this season. But that's a pretty interesting signing. Running backs, ETN goes to the Titans, Tyler Spears to the Commanders, Keaton Mitchell to the Vikings. We saw Zay Flowers go to the Rams, Rice to the Cardinals, Williams to the Steelers, Ray McLeod to the Jaguars, Samuel to the Jaguars, Palmer to the Browns. We see Tucker Kraft pick the Giants, Dawson Knox to the Saints, Bretton Strange back to the Jaguars, Ryder Jones to Atlanta, Folson to the Bengals, Elton Jenkins to the Giants, Brian Kelly, Aaron Brewer to the Cardinals, Caleb McGarry to the Browns, Edon Harrison to the Rams, Keon White to the Cardinals, Evan Collins to the Browns, Will McDonald to the Browns, former Jet, obviously. Leonard Williams goes to the Steelers, so the Steelers had Grover Stewart and Leonard Williams. DJ Reader goes to the Saints, John Reed goes to the Saints, Noddy goes to the Jaguars, Jermaine Johnson went to the Commanders, Nwosu went to the Bills, Anderson to the Panthers, Kenneth Murray to the Commanders. Steelers signed some linebacker, Trenton Simpson to the Cardinals or to the Falcons. DeMarvin Overshown to the Chiefs, Marlon Humphrey to the Giants, Kendall Fuller to the Steelers, Womack to the Raiders, Douglas to the Raiders, McMillan to the Falcons, Ringo to the Packers, R. Davis Washington to the Titans, Hamilton to the Saints, Brown to the Falcons, Sidney Brown to the Jaguars, and then we only see one kicker and punter get signed. So some big shakeups, but like I said earlier, I'm really happy with our free agency class. But let's go ahead and do some private workouts here. All right, so our three focus guys here are going to be Bryce Boone, Manu Soto, and Juan Alvarado. So those guys are guys we could target in the second round or third round because we already know who we're going to get in the first round. So we're going to go ahead and choose those guys as our focus players. And then we see Zach Bond, somebody who we're thinking about trading for, goes to the Browns. So that's an interesting trade. They gave up what? They gave up Mason Graham, so they traded down for extra picks to not get Travis Hunter, just to trade Mason Graham for Zach Bond. They gotta change the trade logic, dude. What? Their first round pick, they just traded him away for Zach Bond, who they're probably gonna have for one season. What the fuck ever. But I think that means we'll just go straight into this draft. All right, so our biggest needs going into the draft, obviously quarterback. We're looking at Brandon Burbank in the first round. I'm looking at tight end. I wouldn't mind adding a receiver, but I wouldn't be mad if we don't come out of the draft with a wide receiver. So my top needs are quarterback, tight end, linebacker, and I still wouldn't mind adding a corner to the team. But biggest need is obviously quarterback. Once we draft the quarterback, we'll see how the board falls, and if it doesn't fall right for us, we can always trade our picks for next year's picks. So let's go ahead and with that, jump straight into the draft here. 2027 NFL Draft is here with the Texans holding the number one overall pick. We're going to pause the draft here a little bit. I'm going to move my face cam over to the bottom right. And we have the 29th overall pick. We're projected to take a center, which we resigned Joe Tittman, so we're not going to need a center. But we could take another offensive player quarterback Brandon Burbank. But we saw Alfonso Callahan projected to go number one to the Texans, and he does go number one to the Texans. The Virginia Tech edge rusher is going to Houston, where he's met with some boos. And he is going to give a fist bump to Goodell and then shake hands. So there we go. There goes the number one overall pick, Callahan. Bo Callahan? No. The Saints are the number two overall pick. Select quarterback Jesus Guzman from, I want to say, South Carolina. I'm sorry I haven't really gone over the draft as well this year. But considering we didn't have very many picks and we had late round picks, there wasn't really, I'm not like, oh my gosh, we have like a top 13 pick. We need to really get to know everybody we could take. But with this first round pick, it is confirmed like 3 or 4 episodes ago that we were going to take a quarterback. The Titans with the third overall pick select DJ Smith, edge rusher. The Lions with the fourth overall pick select Carlos Felix, another edge rusher. So the first 4 picks, 3 of them are edge rushers, and one of them is a quarterback. As we see, he is hyped, shakes the commissioner's hand. And there we go. He is now a Detroit Lion, replacing Aiden Hutchinson, who left last year's offseason. The Cardinals are projected to take Danny Duncan, the YouTuber, and he does go to the Cardinals. It's the end of the Kyler Murray era in Arizona. Maybe Cardinals fans aren't too happy, but look, he's wearing a mesh of different shades of red. Horrific style. And I'm not one to comment on people's styles. I wear shirts and shorts every day of the week. But that is horrific looking. But maybe, hopefully, his Cardinals career will look better than that outfit. We move out of the top 5 to number 6 with the Vikings taking Glenn Marks, defensive tackle. I believe they took Cooper Bard last year, so they have drafted 2 defensive tackles. Are they the Commanders from like 5 years ago? Anyways, the Chargers select Matt Watkins, another defensive tackle. So it's been defensive line quarterbacks only. Will the Browns break that? And they do not. They take a defensive tackle after trading away Mason Graham for Zach Bond. They draft his replacement in Mitch Filipich. I don't know. The Jaguars with the 10th overall pick select Addison Gaines, defensive tackle. So when are we going to see the first non-defensive lineman quarterback taken? Is it the Bears who break it? And it is the Bears who break the streak. They go Dwan Doolittle, defensive back. So he goes to Chicago to pair with Jalen Johnson. Nice pick by the Bears. The Buffalo Bills, our team in our division, we're going to see this player twice a year. And we are going to be seeing Nazir Turbin, defensive tackle. And then the Patriots, I picked 25, and the Dolphins have picked 24. The Steelers with the 12th pick, projected to go quarterback. They do go quarterback Javier Beasley. So we have seen 3 quarterbacks go. And if we view our draft board here, Burbank is the next highest rated quarterback. Matthias Silva is there. Denzel Barksdale. But the guy I want is Brandon Burbank. But I don't think any of these guys ahead of us are going to take a quarterback. Number 13, they go with Percy Callahan, defensive back. The Seahawks with the 14th pick select Enrique McFarland. So we see a run of corners. The Chiefs with the 15th overall pick select Trayvon Hughes, right tackle. The Buccaneers with the 16th overall pick select Eric Peterson, their Mike Evans replacement. We look at the Panthers, pick 17, select Thaddeus Kelly, defensive back. We see the Cowboys with pick 18, select Josh Contreras, another tackle. This is very realistic so far. The Colts with the 19th overall pick, they shouldn't take a quarterback. The Colts with the 19th pick select Lance Gardner, defensive tackle, and I don't think we have to worry about a quarterback getting taken until our pick. The Packers go with tight end Lucas Gregory, their Tucker Kraft replacement. We could have signed Tucker Kraft, but we decided not to. The Broncos select Joey Hall, right tackle. The Falcons with the 22nd pick select Marco Perez, a center. Okay. The Commanders with the 23rd overall pick select Jaron Andrews. So there goes the first linebacker off the board. The Dolphins with the 24th pick go Romeo Farrell. There's our first our second interior lineman. The Patriots. So we'll see Farrell twice in a row. The Patriots with the 25th pick go Evan Dunbar, edge rusher. We're going to have to see him twice a year. The 49ers with the 26th overall pick select Antoine Darby. There goes another linebacker. The Eagles, 27th pick, go Taylor Alonso. And the Ravens, who lost a ton of players, start their draft with Ben O'Neill, left tackle. I talked about wanting to take Brandon Burbank. Matthias Silva is still here. Denzel Barksdale's here. Jerome Daly's here. If we want to continue with the athletic quarterbacks, Jerome Daly, 4.75. What did Burbank run? 4.95. We could take Matthias Silva, who ran the 4.7s. Barksdale. Yeah, we have a lot of different quarterbacks to take for Jerome Daly. I think it pretty much ends at Jerome Daly. I'm not going to take Brandon Shepard. But we have our pick of 4 different quarterbacks. Now, we could trade down and see what happens. But let's see what the picks could be. We could trade down to the 38th pick with the Vikings and get a 5th. No. We can trade down 6 picks with the Titans pick of a 5th. No. We're not trading out of this pick. Yeah, no, I don't like any of these trades. Okay, so we are going to take a quarterback. It's either Burbank, Silva, Barksdale, or potentially Jerome Daly. Now, I believe Brandon Burbank looks the best right now, but he has 0 speed. God, I'm actually thinking about this really heavily now. Burbank, Silva, I was expecting Silva to get chosen, but man, this is tough. Now that Jerome Daly's here at Scrambler, do we want to keep the element of the quarterback run? He looks pretty good. He got great play action. Jerome Daly, wow. I was hyping up Brandon Burbank like I was going to take him, and now I'm considering not maybe taking somebody else. Silva's the same way, but Silva's a little faster than Burbank. Barksdale, Daly. He has a great arm, so we'll probably have. So I'm assuming Burbank will probably have close to 96 throw power, maybe. Barksdale might have 91, 92. Or Daly. So it's between Burbank, Silva, and Jerome Daly on who we should take. So, okay, so now I've narrowed it between Jerome Daly and Brandon Burbank. The difference is they are both 21 years old. They're both 21. Jerome Daly 6'3", 231 from Louisville. Brandon Burbank 6'6", 227 from Tennessee. Jerome Daly's got lower awareness, higher short accuracy, same medium, lower deep accuracy, higher throw on the run, same throw under pressure, higher break sack, higher play action, better carrying. His injury is a D to an F. So is Burbank, but quarterbacks never get hurt. And this Jets playbook has some quarterback runs, which would cut some plays out of the playbook if we get Burbank. If we get Burbank, we would have to change playbook and go to one where there's like hardly any quarterback runs. And I wanted to become more of a passing attack. With Burbank, we could become more of a passing attack, but with Jerome Daly, we would still keep this sort of identity we have with a running quarterback. The thing is, we would have to shift the offense around Brandon Burbank and his talent. Where we could just keep the same sort of offense with Jerome Daly, but we'd completely have to reinvent the offense with Brandon Burbank. We'd have to find a playbook that doesn't use the quarterback run, and I like having the quarterback run. Burbank has the better floor, but the lower ceiling. Jerome Daly has the worst floor, but the higher ceiling, because he can run, and that will help his development if he can run. Where if Burbank, it would only be passing. Where Daly would have passing and the run. After 20 to 30 minutes of deliberation, I had it between Burbank, Matthias Silva, and Jerome Daly. I narrowed it down to Brandon Burbank and Jerome Daly. And I have made my decision. This was a tough decision. Burbank. See, this is where I think made my decision. Burbank, I believe, has a lower floor or a higher floor than Jerome Daly, but a lower ceiling. And I think Jerome Daly has a lower floor, higher ceiling. Burbank can't run. That means we would probably have to change the playbook to remove the quarterback run. But Daly means we can just keep the same playbook and run the ball. Daly's not going to be as good right now. So I have made my decision at quarterback. And with the 29th pick in the NFL draft, we are going to be taking Jerome Daly, quarterback, Louisville. I said I was going to take Brandon Burbank for the longest time, for the last few episodes, but I've had a change of mind, and I'm going to go with Jerome Daly with the 29th pick, quarterback from Louisville is the pick. Fans are excited. Everybody's cheering. I don't hear a single boo. So maybe this was the right choice. Jerome Daly is a New York Jet, and he could change this franchise around. He's ranked 59. We got him at 29. They're obviously, unless the quarterback's top 5 round 4 talent, it's going to be a reach, but it's a quarterback. You know, you're going to reach for quarterback. The quarterbacks overall wise aren't going to be as good as the other positions. Excellent deep accuracy, unfazed by pressure, maintains accuracy when throwing on the run, and his development trait is normal dev. Oh my gosh. I still think it's a great pick. 93 throw power is still really good. 83 speed, 90 change direction, 89 excel. Maybe he was the wrong pick, but I think Burbank probably had 96 throw power, 95. But Jerome Daly is a lot more athletic, and he keeps the quarterback of the element scramble that I like. So Jerome Daly is the pick here. That might be the biggest surprise ever on this channel. But now we'll see where Brandon Burbank potentially goes. He's not going to go in the first round, so we'll see what these next 3 picks are. The Rams select Rodney Tompkins, corner. The Bengals select right guard Evan Robinson. And then the Giants, with the last pick, select, we don't get to see. They selected Philip Curtis, right tackle. And then we move on to the second round where we have the 29th overall pick again. All right, with the first pick in the second round, the Texans select Adrian Duckworth, a center. The Saints took Guzman with their first pick, and they give him a wide receiver. Cliff Hunt goes to the Saints from Louisville, teammates with Jerome Daly, our selection. The Titans with the 35th pick select Paul Riddick, another wide receiver. The Lions with the 36th pick select Kamani Boone, left tackle. The Cardinals with the 37th pick select Tillman. Donnie Tillman, left tackle. The Vikings with the 38th pick select Jonathan Iglesias, Harrison Smith replacement. The Chargers with the 39th pick select Eddie Morales, tight end out of LSU, I believe. Yeah, goes to the Titans or the Chargers. He was one of my targets, but we don't really have the draft capital to trade up. Maybe we give up more picks in the future. I don't know, but the Browns, this is where Brandon Burbank could go with the 40th pick. No, they go with wide receiver Raheem Jackson. The Jaguars with the 41st pick select Matthias Silva. Goes to the Jaguars. So not Brandon Burbank. So Brandon Burbank is slipping. The next team I think could take quarterback is the Raiders potentially, maybe the Colts. But let's take a look at our draft board here now that we've seen a little bit. But look at some of my favorites here. We have Burbank. We see Soto's around 1 to 2 talent. Alvarado's around 2 to 3. And then Boone is a round 1 talent. Bryce Boone, round 1 talent. Ooh, that could be a nice pick. Round 3 to 4 projection. Could he be our second round pick? I don't know. So that's interesting. Novak, Cesar Cabrera, Soto, Daniel Huffman, Bradson, Mike Richards. So, board, there's still a few players that I really want on our board. The Bears with the 42nd pick select Emmanuel Lennon. The Bills, we'll see this player twice a year, select Anthony Terra, a center. The Steelers with the 44th pick select Daniel Huffman. So there goes one of our second round targets. The Raiders with the 45th pick select Luther Reddick, running back. Okay, they have Ashton Genty, but whatever. The Seahawks with the 46th pick select Jared Novak, wide receiver. Okay. The Chiefs with the 47th pick select Thaddeus Branch, running back. The Buccaneers with the 48th pick select William Calhoun. So a run on some running backs here. The Panthers select Joey Martinez. The Cowboys with the 50th pick select Antoine Wilson, safety. The Colts with the 51st pick, 10 picks before our pick, select Brandon Burbank. There goes Brandon Burbank to the Colts at pick 51. Can we look at the schedule for next year? We do play the Colts in week 7. So if Brandon Burbank is the starter, we will see them face off in week 7. That should be a fun game to play, or a fun game to look out for. The Packers with the 52nd pick select Mike Richards, center. The Broncos, the 53rd pick, select Tyreek Sherwood. Falcons, pick 54, Vincent Moulton. Commanders, pick 55, select Noah Overton. The Dolphins, we'll see this player twice a year, select Juan Alvarado, Sam linebacker. The Patriots, with the 57th pick, we'll see this guy twice a year, select Cesar Cabrera. Okay. The 49ers, with the 56th pick, select Dave Shields. The Eagles, with the 59th pick, select Miles Durant. And then the Ravens, with the 60th pick, select Jonathan Croft. And we are back on the board with our second round pick. Barksdale is still there. Shepard's still there. Obviously, we're not going to take those guys. But Casey Kilmer was on our board. He's only around 3 to 4 talent. But let's head to our favorites here. So Casey Kilmer, Manu Soto, tight end from Clemson. I was thinking about taking another tight end. Manu Soto could be the pick at tight end. Trey Cox from Oregon. A hit power, A tackling. Um, Solid speed, elite strength, good jumping. Trey Cox could be a player we take. We could take Bryce Boone, another corner, who has good speed. Round 1 talent. With this second round pick, we're going to be taking Manu Soto, tight end from Clemson. I know we have Mason Taylor, but we do run a decent amount of 2 tight end sets, so it's not like Mason Taylor is going to be completely out of playing time. But I wanted to add another tight end. He's got elite speed, elite agility, elite excel. He's got speed. He's faster than Mason Taylor. He has A awareness, A break tackling, A catching, traffic, B catching, B deep, B medium, B run block, A run block fast, B stamina. Looks like a very good player. 6'5", 250, 21 years old from Clemson. So we take quarterback from the ACC, and we're going to be taking a tight end from the ACC and Manu Soto. Plus, I don't think Mason Taylor's developed as well as I've liked so far these first 2 years. So we're going to be taking tight end Manu Soto. You can see me there in the front office, happy about that. We like that pick. Holds up that Jets hat. And he's ranked 42. We got him at 61. They gave us a B-. Soft, reliable hands, excellent speed for a tight end, unbothered by defenders when catching passes. And he is a hidden dev. 87 speed, 86 change of direction, 90 excel, 71 strength, 78 jumping. He should probably start over Mason Taylor day 1 just because of his speed and his hidden dev ability. So there you go. That's been a great pick. And now we'll go the rest of the third round here. The Rams, with this next pick, select Ladarius Ramsey. This is a video game. Then the Giants with the 64th overall pick select Danny Batten, running back, Mississippi State. Now we jump into the third round where there's still some guys on our board that I would like to take. I would like to get Bryce Boone. I think Bryce Boone's the best available player left on our board. Max Parker would be a fun player to add, considering he's got elite speed. All right, start of the third round. The Texans, with pick 65, select Jake Baker. All right, the Saints, with the 66th overall pick, select Casey Kilmer, Mike linebacker. All right, the Titans, with the 67th overall pick, select Brad Smith, strong safety. Somebody we had on our board. The Lions, with the 68th pick, select Nelson Morris, free safety. The Cardinals, with the 69th overall pick, select Lance Collins, left guard. The Vikings, with the 70th pick, select Max Parker. Dang, I was really thinking about trading up for him, even though he's around 3 to 4 talent. He had a very good speed. The Chargers, with the 71st pick, select Austin Anderson. All right, the Browns, with the 72nd pick, select Densdale Barksdale. So there goes another quarterback to Cleveland from Florida. Whoa. Then we have the Jaguars on the board. All right, the Jaguars, with the 73rd pick, select Terrell Lowry, free safety from Washington State. The Bears, with the 74th overall pick, select Von Preston, strong safety. The Bills, we'll see this guy twice a year, select Trey Cox, free safety. And then the Steelers, with the 76th pick, select Steven Hatcher. All right, the Raiders, with the 77th pick, select Brandon Shepard. So there goes the other quarterback, who will probably play behind Justin Fields. All right, we finally made the trade. I've been trying to trade Brandon Stevens for the last 6 picks. A team finally decides to take him, and it is the Seattle Seahawks, who will be sending away their third round pick. We trade up in the draft. We keep our third, So we still have that pick to take from, but we now have pick 78. And you guys could assume who we are going to get here. We're going to go up and we're going to get Bryce Boone. You may think that's a little too early for him, but players, now if they're good, they're just going to go ahead when they're projected to go. So we got to jump on it. And Bryce Boone is one of those guys. He's got good speed, good strength, good change direction, agility, and excel. I know we just signed 2 corners, but Jamel Dean, it's only a 1-year offer, and we signed Max Melton just in case he maybe goes up in development. It could be a nice developmental corner for us, maybe. But we can get Bryce Boone, and we trade away corner for a corner. So essentially, we're trading Brand Stevens for Bryce Boone. And we're going to be taking Bryce Boone with this pick. He's the best player available on our board. So why not try to go up and get the best player on our board and could be the best player overall-wise day 1. You see our entire front office is happy. I'm happy about this decision. And so is Boone. But he's ranked 13th, and we got him at 78. They gave us an A-plus pick. Smart, heady defender, instinctive zone defender, shows knack for getting ball carried to the ground. He is hidden dev, 91 speed, 85 jumping, 91 change direction, 88 agility, 91 excel. We'll see how much he plays his rookie year. But he's going to be a nice player for us with that hidden dev. Then we have pick 93, but there's not really anybody I really, really want to get, so I think we'll just go pick by pick. Sergio Felice goes. Zaire McCoy to the Buccaneers goes. The Panthers select Cam Colbert. So there goes the third quarterback of the 3rd round. The Cowboys go with cornerback Dante Spence. The Colts go with Dominic McDonald. The Packers select Carlos Witherspoon. The Broncos select Miguel Sierra, somebody on our board, but I wasn't going to take a blocking tight end. The Falcons go with Alfonso Black. The Commanders go with Chris Estrada, other tight end we on our board. The Dolphins will see this guy twice a year. Select Chance Bullocks, corner. The Patriots will see this guy twice a year. Jamie Fowler. Okay, don't see any way he'd get any playing time. Probably just a backup for New England. The 49ers select Joey Goldman. The Eagles select Eli Sheed. And then the Ravens with the pick before us select Chad Stanley. And then this is our last pick until the 6th round. So we got to make this one count. As we look at some of the guys on our board here, we have running back, some safeties, some edge rushers, some wide receivers, some defensive tackles, but 3rd round pick, there's not really anybody that I really want. This could be a pick where we potentially trade down and get more picks. We can trade down to the 4th round. We get a 6th rounder from we can get the Rams 3rd rounder next year. We can just pretty much just trade out of this pick and get 3rd rounders. All right, with this 3rd round pick, I think we're just gonna go BPA, best player available, and I believe it is Mark Chavez. He looks very athletic for his safety. His college pro day, 2nd 40-yard dash, 1st bench press, vertical jump, broad jump. I know safety isn't our biggest need, but at this point in the draft, it's just kind of best player available and then figure out where they could be. And I think Mark Chavez is going to be one of those guys that we just figure out where he could be. Maybe he'll be maybe he could be our 3rd safety because we do play 3 safeties, even though Malachi Moore is up to star dev now. But maybe I don't know. Maybe we use Malachi Moore as a trade piece, and then Mark Chavez takes a spot. But we're gonna go BPA, and I think the best player available is Mark Chavez. Safety's not the biggest need, but looks like the best player available. Had him in my 2nd and 3rd round targets. And we're rebuilding this secondary. We've added 3 corners, and now we're adding a safety in Mark Chavez. So we'll see where he will rank. He is holy shit, 227th ranked pick. That's a really bad pick. I should have just traded the pick away. I thought his okay. That's a horrific pick. I thought his athletic abilities. I should have just looked at his. I was looking at athletics. He looks very athletic, and that is a really bad pick. Huge waste of a third round pick. So this guy might not ever do anything for the team. So that's going to be marked down as the worst pick of this franchise so far. But we'll just go straight to the sixth round pick. With our sixth round pick, we're going to be taking a guard, Cade McManus, from Ole Miss. We need all offensive line depth, and I think he looks decent enough. I know he's projected undrafted, but it's the sixth round. These guys usually aren't going to be very good anyways. So it's hopefully better than our third round pick, because that was really bad. Number 221 in the draft. We took him at 96. Should have just traded the pick away. But we get him here. And he's ranked, okay, he's ranked 172. We got him at 189. Knowledgeable and proficient run blocking schemes, uses power to drive defenders, needs to improve awareness. He is just normal depth, 87 strength. But it's offensive line depth, so we'll take that. All right, and with our final pick in this draft, we're going to be taking linebacker Jamie Costa, Sam linebacker from TCU. He's got B block shedding, A pursuit, A tackling. He's got good speed, good change of direction. He just looks like a guy who could be a good special teamer. And we're going to be taking that, and I wanted to draft at least one linebacker. So we're going to take Jamie Costa in the seventh round. It's a seventh round pick. This is where our third on safety should have gone if you looked at his true talent. So I guess you can say this would be better than our third round pick, hopefully. But there we go. Jamie Costa is the pick. He is excited to be a New York Jet. And he's ranked 127. So very good pick. These are better than our third round picks. I should have just traded that pick away. Shows good technique on wrap-up tackles. Slow linebacker in today's game. Average recognition skills. 83 speed. Yeah, it's not very good. But figured, could be decent overall. We'll take a look at the recap. We see Jerome Daly's a 77. Soto's a 74. Boone was a 77. Chavez was a 65. McManus was a 67. Costa was a 68. Those aren't bad 6th and 7th round picks. But that third round pick was really bad. But we got some good players. We got our hopeful quarterback of the future, Jerome Daly. We can see he has 93 throw power, 83 speed, 78 deep, 77 medium, 85 short, 84 throw on the run, 81 play action, 84 break sack. I took him over Brandon Burbank because he was going to be way more athletic, and I kind of wanted to keep that in the offense, an athletic quarterback who can run. Manu Soto, drafted in the second round, who will start over Mason Taylor. I just wasn't really happy with the way he developed. He dropped a lot of passes early in the season. And Manu Soto gives us that more deep threat at tight end with 87 speed, 90 excel. His catching, I know, isn't very good. But that should hopefully improve with this depth chart. It could be superstar, it could be star, it could be X factor. And then in the third round, we traded Brandon Stevens essentially for Bryce Boone straight up, and he was our best pick overall wise. He's a 70 up to 78 with temporary morale. Hidden dev, 23 years old, with 91 speed, 80 zone, 75 man, 76 player. We heavily went into the secondary this offseason, and with the addition of Bryce Boone is pretty obvious, and then Chavez was a very bad pick. I took him based off his athletic profile, which was good, 89 speed. At safeties, usually you don't find very athletic safeties, and he's looked good, but he's actually really bad. So that's a really bad pick on my fault. And then McManus, 67 overall in the 6th round is not bad. He's going to be solid depth. He's going to be depth piece. And then Costa was the 7th round pick, 68 overall, not bad. Again, just going to be a depth piece. But, you could say you went 3 for 6 on your picks, but I'm still happy with our draft. But we'll take a look at the other draft. Yeah, I don't think this was a very good draft. Yeah, the highest was an 82, and then, this just wasn't a very good draft compared to last year's draft. Like, there's an 82, and then it drops to 79 and then drops to 77. The best player was Romeo Farrell, who the Dolphins took. So the Dolphins got the number one player in the class, unless there's a kicker or punter somewhere, but we don't really need a kicker or a punter, so not gonna let the those guys. But he's already a top 10 right guard as a rookie, and he hasn't even played a snap, so that's a really good pick. Yeah, this just wasn't a very good draft class compared to last year's. We'll take a look at the other quarterbacks. Guzman was also normal dev. He has 97 throw power, so Daly probably has 97 throw power. But he's not as athletic. He has normal dev. I'd still rather take Jerome Daly. Danny Duncan, the Cardinals took, is also a normal dev. 74 overall. He's got 92 throw power. Short accuracy is really bad, 74. We look at Javier Beasley, the Steelers took, 72 normal. So it appears all these quarterbacks might have just had normal. Javier Beasley is more of a Jerome Daly type, athletic, but I believe Daly was probably better accuracies. Matthias Silva, who the Jaguars took, who's a 76 overall. So obviously you'd probably say, why not take him? 78 speed still isn't bad. Maybe I should have took Matthias Silva, 95 throw power. The Jaguars took him, so he's probably never going to play unless Trevor Lawrence gets hurt or they don't resign Trevor Lawrence or they cut Trevor Lawrence. I don't know. But that seems like a really good pick for the Jaguars if they ever end up using him. And then we saw Brandon Burbank, 75 overall, and he is a hidden dev. Okay, he has 72, only 94 throw power. Okay, I thought he was going to have a lot better throw power. So Brandon Burbank has better deep accuracy, only one more throw power than Daly. I'd still take Jerome Daly. I know Burbank's high overall and he's got the dev trait, but when you play the games, if I was just doing sim, I would have probably just took Brandon Burbank or Silva. But we play the games, and Brandon Burbank didn't really fit the type of quarterback I wanted, so we'd rather take the guy who fit our scheme we have now rather than just making a whole new scheme around him. We see McFarland was towards the top of my board. The Seahawks ended up drafting him from Clemson. He looks pretty good. Take a look at the Bills draft. They took a defensive tackle, Nazir Turbin, Anthony Herrera, Trey Cox. Somebody on our board is a 73 overall. And then just some other guys. Crockett, I was thinking about taking with one of our picks. 68 overall. Saw he had decent speed, but decided to take the offensive lineman instead. The Dolphins got the best player in the draft with Farrell and then Juan Alvarado. Somebody we're looking at 73 hidden dev. I definitely wanted him. And then Bullock 68 overall. Callister, somebody I was looking at. They drafted Evan Dunbar, Cesar Cabrera, somebody we're looking at, but looks like we took the right one. Manu Soto is a hidden dev. And then they took Jamie Fowler to be the backup in the third round. Okay, but, they both did good with their first two picks, but I like our draft. But yeah, so we'll update the roster, the lineup, see what it would look like. So we see Jerome Daly in there. So Silva and Burbank were both hidden devs, and I passed on them for the more athletic Jerome Daly. And then we drafted Soto. Mason Taylor, it says he's an 83, but he's got +5, so he's really a 78. So he's only 4 overalls better than Manu Soto. So I'm assuming Soto will probably start at tight end this year. Jerome Daly's obviously going to start. Maybe if we sign somebody from free agency and we have a battle for who could be the quarterback one, the QB one. And then defensively, we drafted Boone. I'm just going to move him over Max Melton. And then we drafted Costa. But yeah, we went in on the secondary. We added 4 new guys in the secondary. But yeah, I think this was a good off-season. Obviously, you'd want a better dev trait on the quarterback, but still, he's a very good player. 93 throw power, 83 speed, 85 short accuracy, 84th on the run. Obviously, still needs to improve other things, but yeah, I think that's all we have to do. We'll go to next week here. But hopefully you guys enjoyed this episode of Jets franchise. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the little longer video. But I will see you guys next time on the FIU Dynasty. Peace.